Namaste, everybody. And first of all, I want to welcome everybody here, and I want to welcome especially the Facebook Live Lightworkers. I haven't been on in about 7 weeks. Um, because of dynamics where the timing was such that it was challenging for me to do that. So, but I'm glad to be back on again and continuing our little chat as we usually have done with the anchoring light meditation. And as many of you do know, and those of you who are new, the Anchoring Light meditation was started on January 7th of 2007. So that time it was a divine directive, had no idea, how long this would be. We should do it weekly on a Monday evening. And so that's been happening for 14 years, every Monday without fail. The few times that I'm not able to do it directly, we do play an anchoring light because that is energetically imprinted on the where we do it on whether it's a CD or now it's on YouTube. The same energetic is imprinted on there, so that's why we do post it on our YouTube channel. For those of you who are listening for the first time about this, if you go to the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light YouTube channel, there's some very powerful things on that channel. And it doesn't have a million likes, and nor is it intended for that. It's intended for those that are seeking and they find themselves there and they are guided to the right meditation or message that's on that YouTube channel. So we are a small collective of very awakened light workers that we consciously work with the ascended realms of light. We're not wondering if we're doing or guessing if we're doing. We absolutely know what we are doing. And so that is a very definite energetic that runs throughout all of the anchor and light meditations, as well as all the other stuff that we do. We did do a Sunday service. We do have that every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. too. Very powerful as well. So one of the things I did want to talk about before we get started, and we usually get started about 7 or 7:05. And for those of you that would like to be part of the Anchoring Light meditation, again, we meet every Monday without fail, and working with the ascended realms of light. There's a lot of advantages to it. Of course, we anchor light to the planet. That's the primary goal. But also, too, we get upgraded, we get downloaded, we get adjusted, we get healed. I mean, how blessed are we to be able to serve in this capacity? The gifts that we receive as light workers is beyond measure, absolutely beyond measure. So one of the things I'd like to talk, and I was just going to mention that for those who would like to be part of it, just go on our Facebook page and find Anchoring Light. Just register for it. Once you register, you're registered all the time. You only need to do it one time, okay? And then you can join us at any time. So the first thing I want to mention is about our current energies that are going in. I would say that maybe about 4 weeks ago, I personally kind of picked up on some energies that were a little, what's the word, discombobulated, a little chaotic, that kind of what I want to call sort of like an attacking, that kind of, energy. Building up to where various things happened. One, I broke my foot. So that's one of the things that took place during this period of time. My understanding what that was all about as well. But the key thing I wanted to bring in is that for those of you that were on the meditation, I think maybe it's a week or 2 weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks ago, very clearly, I saw a solar eclipse. It was very clear. So for those of you that were on that anchoring light, you remember the description of the solar eclipse, but the idea was that the rays of the sun, you could still see the rays of the sun, even though the sun was blocked out, as a circular a dark circle as a result of the eclipse. And of course, eclipses, during the time is when it's bright and sunny. And then all of a sudden, the shadow comes over the earth because of the eclipse. So there's a reason why that visual showed up in the anchoring light that we had back then. And as I recall, the energy that came in, if I recall, was like a sky blue energy, and that energy was for it to be more of a calming, settling energy, perhaps to support us in energetics that will be coming that might be more demanding. And so what I want to talk about now is, why is it that you've had people, and specifically people in the know, do certain ceremonies and so forth during an eclipse, which has been throughout time? It is because energetically, one, the celestial bodies are aligned in a certain way, but more importantly, eclipses, particularly a total eclipse and where it impacts on the planet, because not everywhere experiences the same thing, because it depends on where you are and how that eclipse affects you. Well, let's just say, or what country it affects. Well, let's just say a total eclipse. Okay, it does darken, or it hides the light of the sun, but not totally. And that's what that anchoring light was about 2 weeks ago. Remember the rays that come out, even though the middle of the sun has been blocked out. So I want to just share with people now that, there are those that are out there that use the energy of the eclipse two different ways. For us, we use it in the light and we hold the light. And for others, what I call the service to self, they use it too. Energy is energy. What you use it for and how you use it is dependent on you. So most certainly, since time memorial, since the beginning of the fallen world, you could say, is that there are those who want to keep things a certain way, certain status quo, keep people in chaos, keep those energies like oppressive, the wonderful fear, that's always been working for the past million years, and keeping us like constricted. When I say us, I'm talking about the Adamic race. I'm talking about the human race. From the Adamic seed. That's who we are. We have 5 fingers and 5 toes in each hand and each foot. So that's our lineage. That is where we come from. And so the Adam Kadmon is the higher aeon of where we come. This physical manifestation is just, Johnny come lately kind of stuff. We're way more ancient than our physical bodies. So we come from a higher aeon known as the Adam Kadmon in Kabbalah. And there is a Gnostic Gospel called the Pistis Sophia, where Jesus, the Christ, the risen Jesus, explains all of this stuff too. And also too, it's explained in many Gnostic Gospels. And you have to ask yourself, well, gee, why were the Gnostic Gospels hidden? Why they're, into the mainstream? If somebody's going out of their way to oppress something, you got to figure out what is it, and it's probably something you need to know. So you most certainly can expand your knowledge on your own journey by, exploring the Gnostic Gospels that have been purposely left out of the main Gospels that we read today in this 20th century, at least in the Western hemisphere. So the thing about it is that these, what I call service to self, the service to others, which is the light, service to self. We're in charge. We like being in charge. We're the masters of the world, and everybody else is basically our slaves, And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, and I have to make this quote from Harriet Tubman, which was very profound. And that quote was, I could have freed a lot more slaves, but they didn't know they were slaves. So that's something akin to us. There all of us were just working, trying to make it, that 9 to 5 or whatever. Now it's not even 9 to 5, because now with technology, you're on call 24/7. 24/7. I see people working or responding at 11 o'clock at night, 2 in the morning. It's like when somebody's on call, they're on call. So, what is this? And then also, too, now with technology, there's more of a big brother effect. What's going on with that? But you're so busy with just trying to make it in the world, it doesn't give you the time to reflect and try to figure out something's not right with this picture. And most certainly, if you're listening to these words, okay, if you are on a spiritual path trying to unfold, in terms of trying to figure out what's going on. And then you are a light worker, a wanderer, a star seed. There's many names for us that are like, something's not right. I feel I got to do something to help correct this. Okay. Many of us have felt that from early on. We're like, I'm not sure if I could figure this out. I think there's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story. But at any rate, let's just talk about the solar eclipse, the eclipse season now. So if you figure that, it darkens the light, who do you think would take advantage of that? Let me guess. The service to self group. They're like, yay, the earth is going to get darkened. We can do some magical things and make sure things are a certain way to our liking, to our will, not divine will, but little o, our will. And, I think there's some people now just realizing that this has been going on, or it's going on. It's new news. It's not new news. This has been happening. So when we say that there are people out there that do work with the dark, they do. And they also have their rituals, and they have their things that they do because they are aware of energies that come into the planet, and they can utilize it, right, for their own selfish purposes. So as we are awakening, we didn't know, as Harriet Tubman, they didn't know we were slaves. We didn't know, like, something's not right with this picture. How come things should, well, there's a sense of us that feels that things should be balanced and more peaceful, more joyful, with more freedom. There's that part of us that's here that's saying, this is not equating to it, what's going on. And that's our journey of awakening. That's our journey of awakening. We're like, wow. Yes, Shara, since you popped out of the womb, you were aware. I know, right? And it's like levels of generations. My gosh, I always think, okay, those generations back and ancestors that held the light in the darkest of times. Somebody has to continue to hold the light so the light can continue to grow and evolve. There is a story about the Ancient of Days. And that was the story of where Sunat Kumara came to the earth. The earth was like really a very dark place. We could still be eating each other. That's how dark it was. And so there was almost like we may have to just write this this planet off. And Sanat Kumara says, no, I'll come. And 144,000 Kumaras went with him and said, we'll help you. They had the light here 3 times. It got snuffed out like 2 times. It finally took on the 3rd light. So that kind of tells you where we have come and where we are now, how wonderful we are in the age of this great awakening. And so no longer are we going to be just encapsulated by a 3D physical world, because we realize that we're so much more than that. And that's what we're tapping into. And so for this solar eclipse, yeah, you're going to have to service the self. They're going to do their rituals and their ceremonies and try to create continue the same oppression, if you will, of the planet and control of the human race. But guess what? And of the planet. But those days are over, because we are awakening in masses and we remember who we are. And we are now stepping forward and using our power. Remember our connection to the higher part of ourselves and to the higher upper worlds and the powers that we do have as we walk on our journey. So with that, I want to invite everybody that next Sunday is going to be here at the center, and we will also have it on Zoom. I'm going to be doing the Sunday service, but we're going to use the powerful names of God, names of power, okay, to bring light onto those nefarious thought forms, intentions, using the solar eclipse for service to self purposes. We're going to zap that, guys. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're here. We're going to go zap, zap. Nope, nope, nope. We're not going to have that because we are awake. So I just want to mention also for December, just be aware that this is an eclipse season, what I just mentioned. So just be extra aware, extra careful and alert. Okay, let's do that. Extra discerning. Extra discerning. Trust your own intuition, trust your instincts, trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. Don't say, let me try it and see if I was right. We're beyond that now. You know that you have enough practice that if you sense something, you don't ignore it, you follow that. And know that we are divinely protected and we are divinely guided always. And our journey is one that is boundless and wonderful as we together create the new earth. Namaste. I will see you next Monday. Family of Light on Facebook Live.